All right, so we're live, it looks like. Perfect.
Live.
Yay!
Okay.
One stream, one chance to change the world.
Yeah. All right, so welcome to my 1,000 subscriber stream. I've never done one on my channel before, so thanks for coming out, Bionic Dance and Professor Stick, and I Think I'm Real.
Yeah.
I've been out for years.
I'm just gonna call you Real from now on, not I Think I'm Real. And I can't even find my own. What's that?
You don't have to call me anything. You can call me whatever you'd like, man.
All right, cool. All right, so yeah, we had some questions. I forgot to take down all the questions last night, so I was up till like 5 a.m. doing it. But so we had one from Grumpy Santa who had the most votes, and it said, I seem to be in the minority among atheists in the US at least, and that I've never been a theist and never had to go through deconversion. So as a generic question to anyone willing to take it up, or everyone, what's the story behind your atheism, lifelong deconverted, etc.? And with regards to that, how would you say it's had an effect on your life, especially with your relation to others, friends, family, etc.? So who wants to field that question first?
Well, I've talked about it many times, actually, because I'm in that same minority, right? I was raised without religion. My mom's side of the family is culturally Jewish. They, really don't do much beyond lighting some candles at Hanukkah and giving gifts. And my dad's side of the family, Italian Catholic. And my dad said, screw that, and tried just about every religion under the sun while I was a kid, but never forced me or my mom into it. And so I saw a lot of religion, but I never took part in any religion, really. And I think more than anything else, that's one thing that kept me not a theist. So that's kind of my story, is I've just never not been an atheist. It took years to become an active atheist, but...
So did you actually not decided that these were all like fairy tales from the very beginning, or did you kind of like for me, my story is sort of similar. I was never really a theist, but at one point in my life I did tell myself that like God was real when I was like really, really young, even though I never practiced it. Like, did you just not practice the sort of like the rituals or sort of like the activities of those religions, or do you actually not believe?
Well, aside from getting gifts at Christmas, because who doesn't like that, I think the closest I ever came to being religious was trying to use the Force.
Nice.
So, yeah, no, it never really clicked with me. I'm not sure if I outright said this sounds like a fairy tale, but some part of me was just not. Well, I'm not even sure I really believed in Santa Claus. I wanted to, because I love the presents thing, but whenever I'd look up in the sky and try to spot Rudolph, I never could.
Shit.
It's the same sort of thing as with religion and not seeing God.
Interesting. All right, well, I mean, I might as well share my story now. Right. So, like I said, I was never really a theist, except I did believe in God at one point. So my parents took me to church maybe twice, like every 6 months or something. And there I did learn about it. So at that point, if you would ask me if God was real, then I would have said yes. But I never really thought about it. And basically I turned into a full-blown atheist when I went through this huge phase of my life in which I didn't think about it at all. And then when high school rolled around, I learned about evolution and science and stuff. And then when I think it was like 3 years ago, the Bill Nye and Ken Ham debate, if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
But during that time, I sort of had this mindset. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I had this mindset that if you were a Christian, you had to be a creationist. Now I know that's not the case, but like during the time, it was like, that's what it felt to me. So I was like, well, evolution is real, so therefore, I can't be a Christian, and that's sort of how I got started.
Real, that's always right.
I suppose it's my turn. Sorry, I'm just waking up. So I started out as a extremely devout Catholic, And this was just the circumstances of my birth. I was born into a very Mexican family, and traditionally they tend to be Catholic. And in my mind, I remember being taught about God, and so I look back, and it was all very logical in that. Okay, so authority figures are telling me that there is a sky zombie Jewish God in the sky who watches me. It's cool, so that checks out, right? Their authority, they wouldn't lie to me. Authority figures then tell me about the fate of my eternal soul. And then I weigh it out in my head. Holy shit, nothing is more important than the weight of your eternal soul. Everything is literally less important than whether or not I go to heaven or hell. That is if you buy into the story. And so I'm like, okay, cool, that checks out. I got to do everything in my power to make sure that I go to heaven, because I don't want to go to hell. And then that's pretty much the groundwork for the formative years of my life being a devout Catholic. And the day that all shattered was when a math teacher showed me a documentary of one of the first few times that somebody who was a non-Muslim was allowed into Mecca. They did a documentary about it. He just showed us at the class. He thought it was super interesting. And everybody was like, whatever, bored. But I'm like freaking out over here. Like, what the fuck? There's another religion out there? Like, why didn't anybody tell me this? And it's different from mine. And they believe in a different God, and they have different traditions. And again, logically, I'm like, okay, hold on. There can't be more than one God. Otherwise, that would devalue the existence of my God. Either mine is real, and none of the other ones are real. Oh, Jesus. Your dog freaked out my dog. Yeah, either my dog is real, either my God is real, or none of them are. And then logically, I'm like, well, then none of this makes sense. There can't be Muslims and Catholics. There can't be Buddhists. There can't be Hindu. The Hindu religion can't exist. None of these other religions. All then I discovered dead religions that have come and gone, and nobody believes in anymore. None of those religions can exist while mine exists. Just in the way that they are, because I don't have a leg up on them. I have as much of a claim to truth that they do. And then that's where it all came falling apart. And then it was a struggle to tell my parents, or my mother, it's like, hey, I'm not interested in eating the body of Christ through a wafer on Sunday anymore. So yeah, that's what happened. Muslims, it was the Muslims.
All right, so my turn, I guess. I don't know. I've talked about this a couple times in other streams, but short version is I grew up being religious. My parents were like elders in their church, and I used to have to go clean the church and all that crap. And I used to go to Sunday school, and then I used to always have questions about, things like Noah's Ark and stuff, like how did all the animals fit on this boat, and why didn't the carnivores eat the other animals, and stuff like that. And my Sunday school teacher, whose name was Mrs. Armour, would never give me a good answer. And my dad was always a big reader, so he used to have like National Geographics and stuff like that around, and I used to read those, and they would always clash with what I was being told in Sunday school. So I guess it was just a slow. I don't know if I ever really completely believed, but I just kind of believed it because my parents told me that it was true. And so, yeah, I guess as I got older, I just started to do more and more research because I like to read a lot, and realized that it was bullshit. And that was pretty much it. It doesn't really do anything to my friends and family. My family's pretty religious, some of them, but besides maybe a couple of conversations I've had with them where they've made really dumb remarks like I can prove Jesus was real and he was the son of God and stuff like that, where I would challenge them on it. They pretty much, it just doesn't come up that often. So, I think they all pretty much
are saying you got to click the outer screen to make sure that it switches pictures when people are talking. I'm not sure if that's happening.
The outer screen?
I think they have to click away from. I said some people are saying that they can only see Bionic dance.
Yeah, I think my avatar has been clicked, and so that's keeping it up there.
Oh, I see. Well, how do I click off of it?
Some people are saying you just click my avatar again. Some are saying you click the main screen where the avatars aren't. I'm not sure which will do it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you, chat.
Cool.
All hail chat.
Thanks, chat.
Nice.
God bless you all.
All right.
All right. So should we do the next question?
Yeah, next question. So It's Me asked, in all seriousness, if you could each be an expert in one field of study other than any that you already are, what would it be? His would be mathematics, or hers. I'm not sure if it's him or her. It would be quite useful. Do you want to take that one?
Then?
Oh, what, you want to do the order we did before?
Yeah,
sure. Doesn't matter to me.
I don't know. It's just no one was speaking. I don't actually know. I mean, there are a bunch of things that I'd like to learn that I don't know already. I would love to finish learning Japanese, but I don't know how useful that would be. By the same token, I'd love to learn how to have like decent space travel, but I don't have the money to build my own spaceship. So I have no idea what I would want to do. But there's a lot of things I wish what I knew could do, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
I see. Wait, to clarify, was it like a field of study that other than the one we already are in or something?
Yeah, field of study.
Okay. For me, it would probably be something to do with astrophysics. I don't know. It's just, honestly, I don't really like physics that much, but like, I feel like it's like the next best alternative for me. I don't know, something about being a theoretical physicist really kind of appeals to me. So if I didn't go into biology, I definitely probably would have went into that.
Yeah, theoretical physicists are hot, dude. Like, imagine rolling up to the party at the cocktail party convention or whatever, and you're offering a donation to this charitable organization. You walk up to said hot lady, and you're like, "Hi, I'm a theoretical physicist. I'm going to tell you about inner workings of the particle quantum mechanisms of the universal of the Higgs boson part." And she's in.
That's the best way to flirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that I would probably want to be an expert on either like American history. I would want to know the inner workings of how my country came about, or just like political science in general, which would make a lot of sense given that I'm doing this as a hobby kind of a thing. And I'm a musician by trade, so this is completely unrelated. But yeah, I think it would make a lot of sense for me to study political science and have a deeper understanding of the government and politics, because I'm out here, I'm putting myself out there, my face and everything, and I'm making all these bombastic claims about politics, and I don't have a degree or anything in it. So that would be cool. I would love to be an expert in that.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm like pretty weak on history, so any chance I could get to like improve my history would definitely be good.
Yeah, I'd have to go with political science because I'd actually, I guess you're right about this one thing, Real. I've actually thought about taking a course in it, just not to really get a job or anything, but just for YouTube and for my own personal stuff. Yeah, stuff. Just so I can know stuff. All right, so next question was from Ursula Major. What prominent or maybe not so prominent atheists and or skeptics influence the way you think and a way you find meaningful?
Oh, I've got a good one for this.
All right, you want to start then, Real? You can go first.
Oh, no. Let's keep the order.
Keep the order? All right, keep the order.
Well, I would have to say that Christopher Hitchens tops that list, but I suppose that's also partly because he was always the most entertaining. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, a lot of the prominent atheists that I started following were people I already agreed with. So there aren't a lot of folks who shaped my thinking, but they definitely tweaked it for sure. The original Four Horsemen, although after a while I started really not liking Sam Harris. And Dan Dennett hasn't really done much lately, but definitely Hitchens and Dawkins for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and well, I mean, I don't know how prominent is prominent to qualify, but certainly Aaron Ra, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I remember him. I haven't seen any of his stuff in a long time. He's still YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's still
I wonder where
uploading.
I'm up to him.
Okay, well, my turn, I guess. So I think the biggest, the most influential YouTuber for me during my deconversion was probably Thunderfoot. I watched his entire series on Why Do People Laugh at Creationists, and then like I was just binge watching the whole thing, and then I watched a whole bunch of his other videos. Yeah, sorry, Kate, I didn't know about your channel during that time, but I'm sure you would have definitely helped me a lot. Yeah, other than Thunderfoot, there was definitely Richard Dawkins. I watched like all of his like debates and stuff. They were like just really entertaining. And off the top of my head, I think those two were the most important ones for me.
Yeah, I was all over Thunderfoot. I discovered his series of Why Do People Laugh at Creationists pretty early on, I think. I think I started watching his stuff in 2007, like when he started. And I think I was 12 or 13 at the time. And so that was pretty shocking for me, because that was at the time that I had that whole experience with learning about other religions. And then that kind of starting a fire in my head where if other religions exist, then what makes mine more true? I was dealing with that question, and then here comes this guy who can sort of rationalize atheism in such a way that makes sense. And so Thunderfoot was the first dude that really helped me just kind of break through that threshold and be confident in saying, you know what, it's all bullshit. I don't believe in any of it. I watched a lot of that guy, and then I remember reading Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion, and getting about halfway through before my parents took it away from me. So I actually have never finished that book, and I've always meant to go back and finish it. But yeah, so Richard Dawkins and Thunderfoot for me were big guys.
All right, so my turn, I guess. Theremin Trees for me, for YouTubers, is really big. I really like his videos, especially the latest one he just put out about Islam. Probably, if you're talking about the Four Horsemen, I like Hitchens, but I know Kate's probably going to disagree with me, but I really like Sam Harris because I like his calm delivery, and I think he's kind of funny. And
But the main reason I don't like him now is because of his politics.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is I don't really agree with his politics, but I agree with his scientific work on free will and things like that, as well as religion.
Okay, I saw him on Dave Rubin, and I remember I think I'd gone a few years without seeing anything from Sam Harris, and I saw him on Dave Rubin, and I'm like, I remember why I like this guy so much. And yeah, like when it came to talking about like who he voted for and why he voted for, like, or whatever, it's just like I was like, that's not, you're a much more intelligent man than just giving me that kind of a flat answer. But you don't have to agree with the politics too.
Yeah, exactly. When he talks about politics, a lot of times he doesn't give any examples. He just says that Trump is stupid, but he doesn't say why really. And it's easy enough to point out why. So I don't understand.
It's beneath him. It's really beneath him to just sort of brush things off that way. I mean, especially with a man that is capable of critical thinking in the way that he is. It's so strange to hear him just kind of like come to conclusions without any examples or reasons, and it's weird.
Yeah, but for everything else, I think he's solid, and I don't know. And I also like that he challenges by criticizing Islam, which I don't see a lot of left-leaning atheists do. So I think I also like Hayan Urzi, Ali or whatever.
Oh, right.
She's awesome too, yeah. And she gets even more flack than Sam Harris. So I think those two are heroes in that regard.
I will say one thing about Christopher Hitchens that I didn't like. The guy had the extraordinarily poor taste to die on my birthday.
Oh,
Fucker.
no.
Oh my God, really?
That was a hell of a present, let me tell you.
Bionic Dance killed Christopher Hitchens.
We gotta hashtag that.
You're here first, guys. Hashtag Bionic Dance killed Christopher Hitchens. Let's get it trending.
There you go.
All right, so our next question is from Tom Valentino. Godless Cranium, what's the best way to remove religion, Christianity in particular, from the USA government so we can protect the First Amendment, abortion rights, LGBT rights, etc., from being removed by believers working in the government? Yeah.
Well, this is a big question.
Yeah.
Guns. really big guns. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
No,
Killed Christopher Hitchens. Now you're going for everyone else.
I've been watching your videos, Bionic Dance. You're so nice, and suddenly you got these murderous tendencies that I didn't know about.
Wow. No, gosh, the best way, I guess, it would have to be education. I mean, I know a lot of Christians and other religious people would object, saying, like, you can't teach children secularism in school. You can't teach them not to be religious any more than we should be allowed to, teach your kids religion, although they think they should be able to do that, of course. But I think, seriously, is getting kids to have a look at the natural world as it actually is in an unbiased fashion is probably one of the best ways to make them see that their religion is bullshit. But even so, I mean, from my own personal philosophy, I figure as long as they can share and play nicely with the other kids, I don't care if they're going to be religious, just as long as they're not shoving it down anyone else's throat.
Yeah.
That's like your line now, playing nice with the other kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of my lines. I guess I do have a couple. But no, seriously, I really do think that's, I don't know, accurate, valid. I think that is a good way to look at it. But then I would, because I said it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think education is probably, like what you just said, you can't really teach secularism, but you can't teach them how to think critically. So in this sense, I think maybe one of the most important things is to teach them science and the scientific method. Because once people start embracing the scientific method, then religion can sort of be weeded out.
Healthy skepticism, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I usually have been taking an interest in the question or the idea of removing religion from society. I have been lately toying with the idea that I think we kind of need it, and we need it in a watered down, very moderate sense. And so I think that a lot of the West was built by Reformed Christianity, sort of watered down, cherry picked Christianity, which is very annoying, but it's a lot less dangerous than extreme fundamentalism. A lot of the stuff that we see in Islamic countries, people who very, very much take the text literally and will use it to justify murder. And we see this constantly. Christians are just people that want to feel good and eat enchiladas together, or Catholics. That was my experience. And so there are some places where I think we need to draw a hard line. In government, I think people are welcome to be Christian or whatever, but it shouldn't influence their voting, and it shouldn't influence legislation. Because as soon as we are passing legislation that is influenced by Christianity or any other religion, we are no longer able to represent all religions, as is sort of the point of religious freedom in this country. But I think that atheism has a problem in that it doesn't offer the social utility that cultural Christianity does, because I would say that 99.9% of Christians are culturally Christian. They might believe in everything, but they've never read the book. They've probably never read one of this. It's like this, they've probably never gone through Genesis all the way through. I've gone through Genesis. It's dry. I don't blame them. But I think that a lot of these people are just culturally Christian. They're passively Christian. They're very moderate. And I think that's almost necessary to keep the fabric of society from falling apart. I don't know if we're ready to be a wholly secular society. Like if we woke up tomorrow and everyone was an atheist, I would wonder what that would look like, how that would play out, if we're even ready for that. But there are definitely some places where it's like, no, religion can't happen. And that is like with people that are pushing for public school religion, push for religious legislation. That is just, I mean, not only is that threatening to me as an atheist, it's also anti-American. It just goes against the First Amendment. But sometimes I'm just like, hey, it's not, I mean, I lived in a Mormon community for 3 years, and their religion is bullshit, but they're the nicest people in the world, and they have a really strong sense of community. And I never felt in danger the way that I felt growing up in LA, where all sorts of things, but I mean, there was just a dangerous world out there. These Mormons would just bake us fruitcakes and be kind to us when we walk by, even though they believe in crazy space gods. So I don't know, man. It's a tough question.
So how would you think about achieving that,
What in particular?
the sort of ideal sort of society that you were talking about just now, with the toned down sort of religion?
Well, I think that that is voting. We have to vote out people that are interested in undermining religious freedom in America. And I think we also have to point out those people that exist, and they're out there, and there are constituents out there, voters out there that want people to reinstate public prayer in schools and stuff, or who want to make this country a very, very theocratic country. They have to be opposed politically, and that's just through voting. That's just through movements, through campaign donations to the right people. And I think that at the end of the day, I think that's an issue of voting in the right people and being politically active in that way. But with the person who asked the question, I think that they were alluding to having a wholly secular society. And although that sounds good, I just wonder in reality if people could handle that. I think that most people out there need to believe that there's this Jewish zombie that loves them so much, and I'd wonder how quickly their world would fall apart if they didn't have that. And for a lot of people I've talked to, it's the only thing keeping them from murdering and raping and thieving, which is terrifying. But if you took that away from them, like what would happen to society? You know, I think that secularism has to be a generational thing. I think it has to be something that, like Bionic Dance was saying, through education, through time, all that stuff. That's how we achieve a more secular society. But we can't have it overnight.
All right, so I kind of agree with Real. I don't think we'll ever get rid of religion completely, or superstition. But I was listening to an Amadio's stream with Logic the other day, and he said something like, paraphrasing, but something like, religion isn't the disease symptom, and the disease is not thinking critically about why you believe the things you do. And I think that's spot on. Like, I think we need to be able to talk to each other about what's going on, which religion among other things has stifled for hundreds of years, thousands of years, really. And now we see in the West that in most cases you're allowed to do the things that we're doing, criticize religious ideas. I think that's important, but I also think it's important that that religious people and atheists, both of us, all of us, kind of examine why we believe the things we do or why we don't believe things. And,
asking questions.
Asking questions, yeah. And I think that's a big reason why I do this channel also. I mean, I just got a really great message from a religious person yesterday, challenging about that God can't, it's timeless and spaceless, or exists outside of time and space. And he put it actually a really good argument forward. I'm gonna have to do research on it, but it's stuff like that. Like, it challenges me to think about it and say, well, maybe they have a point there. So, so I think it's important to do that. And your dog is breathing really hard, man.
No, that was
it's my dog. My dog.
Fine.
My dog wants to be on the stream.
Your dog's a star. All right, so next question was from Redacted. They asked, I would like to ask the panel, how important are collaborations when beginning a new channel, and how to first approach other YouTubers for a collab?
Well, it does seem kind of important. I mean, a lot of the people who've gotten very popular have been doing a lot of streams like this one, or group videos, that kind of thing. It does seem to get more attention. I kind of wish I'd been doing more of them, because number one, this is fun. But number two, gosh, I wish my channel was bigger. I mean, I look at people who have like 100,000 subscribers. I'm sitting here thinking, why not me? So, I think streams and collaborations are actually a big thing, for sure.
Real? Oh, maybe his dog kidnapped
I thought
him.
Professor Stick would go next.
Oh, Professor Stick.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Is this person asking the question thinking about starting his channel or something? He's
Maybe.
asking.
Maybe.
Okay,
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Well, Yeah, collaborations is definitely one of the best things you could do to grow your channel, I think. But then you also got to be smart about it. You can't, I mean, if your main goal is to grow your channel, then you should collab with possibly someone who has the same amount of subscribers as you, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I'm doing my channel mainly for fun. I'm not really here to grow my channel or anything. So I would like literally collab with like anyone that would ask me. But oh yeah, to answer the second part, how would you ask people for collabs? I think the best method would be through Twitter, to be honest. I really don't know. That's kind of where I was talking to most people about collaborations.
Fuck Twitter.
Why?
I don't know. I don't like Twitter. I don't know. It just
I'm
seems like
more eloquent than Twitter lets me be. Or
Twitter's
maybe
alright, I guess.
verbose is the right word. I don't know about eloquent, but yeah, Twitter, meh.
all right. So you're next, real.
I think that yeah, I just had a really good experience with the collaboration. Let me just get this squeaky toy away from my dog. Okay, I'm back. I had a really good experience with a collaboration recently. I was on Cognitive Thoughts channel. I did a guest video, and it more than doubled my numbers. Zoe Does Life. I think you're familiar with Zoe. And all my numbers just boosted up. I was at like 250 subscribers, and I'm so Jax, get out of here! Get out of here! Go get. Incredibly important. It is the easiest way to get a lot of subscribers, but you want to do a good job. And so on the second part of the question, like how do you ask? First, have something to offer. In Cognitive Thought, he found my channel and he said, I like your content. And so I got that approval and I said, hey, I'd love to do a guest spot on your channel. And he was into it because he liked what I had to offer. So have something to offer. You know, work hard to make yourself someone that's worth watching, and then it'll be a lot easier for you to make those connections. And these collaborations aren't just for like a quick boost of subs. You want to build bridges. You want to like work with these people again if you can, and build relationships and all that stuff, because it's not just a one-time thing. You want to network. You want to build a network. I think that's the quickest way to grow your channel, and it's also a lot of fun, and it's super cool to show up on somebody's channel and see all those funny comments, and I get a lot of stuff about me looking like a lesbian, and I love that stuff. So important. So if the questioner is thinking about starting a channel, do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's important to do collaborations, and they're probably, for me, they're kind of difficult because I'm not good at working with people, even though that's what I do for a living, actually. But
one thing I should have mentioned is as much as collaborations, shout outs help. I mean, I gave Godless Cranium here a shout out, and that seems to have helped a bit. I remember when my channel was at 500 subscribers, and I don't know if anyone remembers a YouTuber, very popular, non-stamp collector. Well, he gave me a shout out, and I didn't know about it yet. So I wake up one morning to like 500 emails. I'm sitting there going, my spam filters just broke or something. But then I look and it's just subscribe. So I'm like, what the hell happened? And I look at my video subscription wall and I watch a non-stamp collector video. I'm like, holy shit, dude said my name. So shout outs are actually a really good thing too.
Yeah, they're huge because, like you said, you helped me out, and before you, Desert File gave me a shout out, which gave me a couple hundred subs, I think, and well, at least 100, anyways. And yeah, so the shout outs are huge. And actually, if I ever get my channel to be bigger, like maybe in the 10,000 sub range, then I'd like to do a series, so maybe once a month or once a week or once every couple of weeks to give shout outs to smaller channels. But yeah, back to the question, I think collaborations are very important. And I think how do you approach them? I always go to their about page and look for an email address, because a lot of them just have it in there like I do, and just send them an email. I mean, what's the worst they can do is say no, right? So you don't really lose anything by asking. So yeah, and I also think that what Real said, I think it was Real, about picking who you collaborate with is because you're kind of endorsing their channel as well as they are endorsing yours, and I don't know, like I try to collaborate with people that I watch or like as well. So anyways, all right. So next question was from Tex Trek. How do you deal with religious friends who can't conceive of any person not believing that a God exists, specifically their God, other than get new friends, of course?
Well, I'm going to have to more or less bow out of this question because if I have religious friends, they don't make a big deal of it. So I might not even know, like I might have a friend who's like this super devout Christian who just leaves it all at home, leaves it all at church, but it just never comes up in my life. So I'm going to have to pass.
You should get new friends. So yeah, I've actually had some sort of experiences. I've had friends who tried to convert me, and then I was kind of like a coward, I guess. I knew they were really hardcore, and if they knew I was an atheist, then the friendship would have been over, and that kind of sucks because I don't think that people's religious beliefs should really separate. If your friendship is so easily broken that like because your belief system breaks it, like then it wasn't really true friendship, So
real quick,
I don't know.
I forgot to mention I have a ton of pagan friends, and who cares?
Nice. Okay.
Our next question is from a pagan.
I have that a lot. So I'm actually in a Christian hardcore band, which is fun. So we read a lot of Christian music. It's all very screamy, but I do that. And when we go out to eat after a show, like we just had a show last night, we made some money and we celebrate. Our front man always says grace, and I follow along. I'm not praying or anything, but I'll bow my head, I'll hold their hands and all that stuff. The thing with them, and the reason why I'm able to, like, they know that I'm an atheist, and they're completely okay with it, is because one, I respect their Christianity because they're not. It's like our front man is a guy who like in his life found Christianity to be something that was important to him, and so ingenuous. And I'm not there to push my agenda. I'm there to make cool music, and so we're able to operate very well. My girlfriend's a Catholic. It's not a problem with us. It's never been an issue with navigating friendship because I'm no longer militant. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. At least not in terms of personal relationships. Usually I'm doing that out here on YouTube, but that's a different dynamic. And so, yeah, it's actually a lot easier than you think. It just has to do with your mindset and their mindset. And as long as there's mutual respect, it's never an issue.
Now, this Catholic girlfriend of yours, her name is Kathy, and she likes to lick. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes. Come here.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I can't think of any friends that I've lost or anything because of it. Like I said before, I've had conversations where it's maybe uncomfortable for them, but overall, it's not been a big issue for me. I have most of my interactions about religion online, either through blogs or YouTube now, I guess. All right, so our next question is from the amazing Pagan Witch. I have a question. What do atheists think of pagans? Both of us pagans and atheists are into science because science tells us how our planet Earth works.
Well, I guess I should have saved my comment for later. Like I said, I have a lot of pagan friends. A lot of it just seems to be like they need something. Kind of the way, I forget who was saying it before. I think it was... Real, who was saying it, that some people just sort of need something, like they couldn't handle secularism just right away. And a lot of my pagan friends just seem to, I don't know, it's almost like they're fans of paganism rather than believers, really. They want something to occupy some empty part of their worlds, of their, I don't know, their personality, their feeling, whatever, that I've never had. I've never felt that emptiness that religion seems to fill for so many people. And I guess that's where a lot of, at least my pagan friends, come from. And because of that, though, they don't really shove it down anyone else's throat. They just occasionally wear flowers or something, or say, hey, it's a day where we have this ritual where we light candles and shit. And I'm like, oh, whatever floats their ducky, you know, I don't care. So.
Yeah, I actually have very little experience with pagans. But from the impression I get is that they're generally pretty quiet. They don't really shove anything in your face. And most importantly, if anyone is someone who like promotes science and stuff, I'm gonna be like your ally, you know. So other than that, I can't really tell you much about that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met a pagan person in my life. I've met a Wiccan person, but I don't think that's the same thing. The reason why I don't have any ill will or really any opinion at all towards pagans is because I think the only reason why I even have an opinion at all about Christianity is because it's a structural thing that exists throughout our society. It affects my life. Yeah, as far as I know, pagan people just like to wear flowers, like Bionic said, and just have fun little rituals here and there. And yeah, I think people go to that stuff because they like Bionic said, they want to fill in a part of their life that might feel empty. Pagans are not in our Congress trying to push legislation for prayer in schools. So I don't have an issue with them. They can do whatever they want to do. What was the second part of the question? Or wasn't that? I didn't hear that.
I think it was more of a statement. It was just that they believe in science as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Science works, man.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of experience with pagans either. My girlfriend's sister is a witch, I guess, but I haven't really talked to her about it much. I just see like that she has like a little altar in her house and stuff like that. So, I mean, if that's what works for them, then that's what works for them. If I probably got into the minutia of their belief system, if they have one, then I would probably disagree with it. But other than that, a lot of times I see pagans, like when I used to write a blog, I had a lot of pagans that followed me, and they always seemed to really support the idea of secularism and things like that. So I'm fine with that. That's all good. All right. So next question was from Peter Pantry, who asked, that's a cool name, Peter Pantry. Who inspired you to be a YouTuber?
Oh, wow. Well, originally my channel was not going to be about atheism. I'm trained in animation. I was pretty terrible at it, actually, back when I first started. I'd like to think I've gotten better at it. But originally my channel was just there to show my animation work. And then actually a friend of mine named Summer showed me some atheist channels, and I was like, you know, this sounds like something I could talk about because religion has bugged me for a while. And that's a large part of why I argue against religion is self-defense against religious interference in people's lives. So I started making a video or two, and it just snowballed from there. Sometimes I wish I'd started a different channel for it, because the name Bionic Dance was always something I wanted to have associated with my animation, because Bionic is a reference to Bionic 6, an 80s cartoon. Whenever they would power up, they couldn't just put that ring into their wrist thingy and say Bionics on. They had to do this whooshing, swirling martial arts dance and shout Bionics on. And I was like, hey, they're doing the Bionic Dance. But now, since the name is so associated with atheism, if I ever were to start a production company, I called it Bionic Dance Animation, people might get the wrong impression. So I kind of regret that sometimes, but I don't regret being an atheist YouTuber. I really don't.
Interesting. Well, for me, it's really hard. Now that I think of it, I can't really place anyone or any particular event that really inspired me to become a YouTuber. But I've been around in the scene for a really long time, and I always feel like I want to be able to express myself. And in real life, I can't really do that. I'd rather not lose my religious friends and that kind of stuff. So the next best option for me was to go online and sort of make my own videos. Yeah, if you knew me, then I'm actually a very different person in real life than compared to what I am in my YouTube channel. Partly because on my YouTube channel, I don't have to hide my feelings towards religion. I can just say whatever I want to. And then there's people who like agree with me, who support me. And I feel like that was it's a really good reinforcement for me to continue doing my channel. If I were to say that if there was one channel that actually got me to start YouTube, it would probably be Logic. I was watching his videos and his Islam debunks and those sort of, I don't know, it's just, he was really my main inspiration to start.
So like the first guy that I kind of idolized on YouTube was Thunderfoot, like I said earlier, and but I mean my first video anti-rabbit hole on YouTube for a while, and although I wouldn't necessarily consider my channel an anti-SJW channel solely because I don't like the idea of being something that is just negative, watching Andy Worski, AJ Dennis response or something that I really felt like I wanted to do my own thing. And the reason why is because I kind of give me a second. The reason why is because I kind of didn't enjoy I mean I liked it. I thought it was funny the way that he just kind of tore Riley apart, but I didn't think it was very effective. Sort of insulting Riley and going out there and yeah, just yelling and I mean like, yeah, it's entertaining, but I thought that I could bring something different to the table. And so then I discovered Roaming Millennial, and I don't think that she did like a response to Riley, but I loved her delivery, and I thought I want to do what Andy Worski does. And so that's where that came from for me.
Yeah. I don't know if I could pin it down to one person. I mean, there's just so many. I watch a lot of YouTube, probably more than is healthy. So I don't know. I liked, like I said, Theremin Trees. I really enjoyed Armored Skeptic when he used to talk about religion and didn't have an inflated ego. I still like his stuff. 49 Alley was another one I really liked. As far as atheism, Roaming Millennial is another big one. I really enjoyed how she presented things, like Real said. I still watch her. So yeah, there's a ton of YouTubers. I never actually heard of. I used to watch Bionic Dance as well a little bit, back in the day. But then I kind of got away from YouTube for a while, and then I came back and I thought, it'd be kind of cool to try this out. So yeah. All right.
There's a lot of channels out there that don't make videos anymore, and I really wish they would start back up again.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like which ones?
Like 49 Alley.
Yeah, that's what inspired me to make that particular comment. I don't know if anyone remembers DPR Jones.
No.
No, well, I liked what he would.
Yeah,
have to
I
say.
totally remember. I watched a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and Zom Gets Chris, although everyone says, oh my God, it's Chris. I always thought it was Zom Gets Chris, but she was really cool too. I loved watching her stuff. And she's fun to hang out with at conventions. She's actually really good people.
She still does stuff, or is she just completely out of the game?
Well, no, I mean, I go to a lot of atheist conventions, like the American Atheist Convention and Skepticon, that kind of thing. And she's almost always there. She just doesn't seem to make videos anymore.
That non-stamp collector is another one too.
Yes.
Doesn't make videos anymore either. I wish he would.
I just haven't thought about, oh my God, it's Zom, it's Chris for so long. It's so weird. It's just like a blast from the past kind of thing that I'm having right now.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, she's fun to hang out with. We have a couple of mutual friends, like 4 mutual friends that we hang out with at conventions. There's this one tradition we have where one of them invited me to what I heard was fondue and archery. And I was like, okay, sure, it seems an odd combination, but why not? So then later we're about to head out to fondue, and they're like, oh, and don't worry, our treat. And I was like, oh, got it, our treat, got it. But Chris was there. And ever since then, every time we're at a convention, we just hang out. It's pretty cool.
Sounds great. All right, so the next question was from Deranged Hermit. It says, what do you think are it's a long question. So what do you think are the best methods to deconvert believers using YouTube, or is it better to use a different medium to accomplish that? I've watched some channels such as Undoomed, where he belittles people more often than making rational arguments, and Aaron Raw, where he's overly confrontational and even lies in order to corner people and make them look stupid. I feel as if when we become overly confrontational, we put people on the defensive and prevent them from listening. Instead, they just try to yell over us. I have watched and continue to watch some of these videos, but I'm starting to feel guilty that they are drowning, and I'm just standing there laughing instead of throwing them a life preserver.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, being confrontational can be bad, putting people on the defensive, but the best way really is guns, really big guns. Sorry, I had to say that again. No, seriously though, I don't know what's actually effective. I mean, I wish I could do some sort of study with like control groups and stuff and see what actually works. My philosophy for making my videos is that the person I'm actually responding to, the person whose video I'm debating, is not my actual target. I doubt I'll ever change their mind. It's the people that are watching who I'm hoping will not feel as defensive because they're not the ones in my metaphorical crosshairs. And if I make the person that I'm arguing against look kind of ridiculous, maybe they'll even be relieved that they're not the ones being made look ridiculous and will then consider what I have to say. I mean, I don't know if any of this makes any sense at all, if it has any bearing on reality, or if I'm just full of shit. But that's basically my philosophy, is try to rope in the audience and hope that they look at what I have to say more objectively than the person I'm arguing against.
Yes, I actually never thought of it that way before, making the person seem ridiculous, because I think there's a difference between making the one person you're responding to look ridiculous and making the entire like group of people that like entire group of Christians look ridiculous. Yeah, I never really thought of just making that one particular person look ridiculous, but the way I see it is that insulting and making yourself really like being really angry and that kind of stuff doesn't really seem like it's probably the best way. I mean, I'm just putting myself in the shoes of like a religious person, and if I'm already if I'm already in the group in which I'm like debating against atheists, where I watch all these Christian channels, and then I come across an atheist who is really mean, is shouting or like swearing and stuff, you know, that's gonna really, it's not really that appealing to convert, because then you're just like, oh, you know, I don't want to be associated with this person. So I think, yeah, I was watching Heath the other day, and he was talking about how like how he likes to use an approach in which he doesn't throw any insults. And I didn't actually notice that about him until he actually pointed it out. And then now that I think of it, that's probably what's making him like really convincing, especially compared to my channel, where I occasionally throw like an insult or two at the opponent, just because, you know, I get bored making videos, and so that kind of stuff entertains me.
Bad stick.
But I've been trying to adopt a new approach in which I'm like talking more calmly. I think that's for two reasons. One is because I want to be more convincing to religious people, or to like whoever I'm debunking, whether it be like flat earthers or like people who think that cyanide can cure your cancer, you know. I think, yeah, it would definitely be more appealing to them. And if I use more scientific explanations rather than just calling these people a moron, you know, I want people to join my side, to go like, yeah, our side is rational, you know, like we are evidence-based, that kind of stuff. We're not just a group of people who, you know, just throw insults at people, at others.
Yeah, I agree. I think the best way to anybody of anything is to be respectful and to be able to demonstrate why you're. Thunderfoot converted me from Catholicism because it was very clear that he was right. And yeah, he would sometimes call Venom Fang X all sorts of names, and I mean, even I use bullshit every now and again, but it's just, I like Bionic Dent said, I never try to go after the person. And so I just recently did a response video to Neon Fiona, who was Riley J. Dennis's girlfriend, and at the end of it, I was like, hey, by the way, don't feel attacked. I'm not going after you. I'm trying to open a dialogue here because we're discussing free speech. It's a big deal to me, but don't feel like I'm attacking you. I made that clear in the video. And then I denounced anybody attacking her personally on her channel. I said, hey, don't do that. Like, that's not going to accomplish anything. And so yeah, I mean, respect is, sometimes it can be difficult to give, especially to people like Riley. But if you give it, I think the people that are watching, that are observing, who are not on either side, will be more willing to go on your side because they see that you're mature, that you're respectful, and that it isn't about going after the person. It's about dialogue. It might not work for some people. Some people tend to gravitate towards insults, but I'm not trying to market to them.
All right. So my answer would be, I don't think there's one best method. I think people respond to different methods. I don't respond to people being insulted. I try not to insult people in my videos, but I also try to be authentic. So I try to be the way I am in real life in my videos. So I guess that's what I do. But everybody's able to do what they want to do, right? So I mean, if the amazing atheist might get through to people when he used to do atheist things, but for me, his kind of content wouldn't sway me if I was religious, because he would just be kind of offensive and I would think he's a jerk, right? So I wouldn't want to listen to him. Whereas somebody like Thunderfoot, with facts and data points and stuff like that, or data points, sorry, data points would work for me, right? That's what I use. That's what I try to use in my videos as well, as try to put quotes in there and science stuff and all that kind of stuff. So
I think it really depends on. Also, it depends on like what kind of audience you want to appeal to. Like, if you want to convince people to join your side of the argument, then obviously, I mean, it's probably better to, do more evidence-based, a calm approach. But I feel like the people who already watch your content and already agree with you, they are probably more excited to see you going aggressive. I don't know. That's just kind of the feeling I'm getting. It's more entertaining to them, because if you're just talking in like really calmly and stuff, it could get a little boring. For the people who already agree with you, they're probably looking for something that's like really exciting, because I don't know, it's kind of normal to hate on other groups of people now, like with different belief systems.
Yeah, I like poking fun at what they're saying. I just try not to go after. I just try not to go after their say their appearances, or if they stutter or something like that. I don't want to be like, oh, well, you're fat or you're old or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For me, that's not an argument, right? But yeah, I like poking fun at what they're saying.
Well, and making fun of how people look has kind of been a thorn in my own side, because people have done that to me quite a lot, and it can get old. It can get annoying. It's the reason I stopped appearing on camera in my videos, is people were saying, wow, look, Kate's so ugly, and using that as an argument. And since I started using an animated character instead, I've started actually seeing people addressing my arguments more. It sucks, but what can you do? I mean, unless someone wants to start a GoFundMe for plastic surgery, I'm not getting back on camera. I got to tell you.
That's why I kind of like the avatar ideas, because then people are forced to listen to what they're saying and not pay attention to their physical imperfections, or their their way of speaking, or whatever they have to, or their age, or any other, their disabilities, whatever it is that would distract them from what you're saying, right? So
now I am going to make fun of someone if they're a car theist. I'm sorry, but filming videos in your car and advocating for religion in the car, I don't know why so many theists do that. What is it about being in your car and talking about religion? I don't understand. So yeah, if you're a car theist, I am going to make fun of you. That's just it.
Well, I found that one car atheist, so there you go.
Yeah, I have a pretty similar experience. I don't get a lot of comments in general. My channel's pretty small, but when I appeared on Cognitive Thoughts channel, like every comment was about my appearance.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And it's okay. Like I don't mind it. Most of the comments that I get in real life are about my appearance anyway, and I get a lot of stuff about it. And I've heard all the jokes about that, like, oh yeah, who's this young lesbian and all this thing. And I frankly think it's actually quite funny. I think it's hilarious. I grew up around a lot of who just make fun of each other for fun. So my skin is quite thick. But yeah, I just don't want it to distract from what I'm saying. I think that I can use like my being on camera, I think is something that gives me a bit of an edge in that I'm trying to be more personable to my viewers. I want them to be here, not just for what I'm saying, but also for me. I want them to like who I am and to come back and put myself out there on camera. And that's a little terrifying, but you got to take it in stride. And I've kind of learned to do that, just kind of let it wash off you and not to take it too personally. So.
Yeah, I think too that for me anyways, recording, like doing the voice recording for me has always been the hardest part of making videos, and to add a camera to that to me would be horrific. Like it would take me so long to make a video.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, kind of like what Real was saying is, I mean, a good personality does draw people to a channel. And I have to admit, since I haven't been appearing on camera as much, my humor has gone away a bit more. I mean, I actually had some props that would go along with my videos, and I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at facial expressions. So every now and then, if there was something humorous I wanted to say in a certain way, there was almost a Groucho Marx kind of delivery. I even bought a fake prop cigar to sort of tap when I make those kind of comments and stuff. It's just not the same anymore. And I kind of miss it. But at the same time, the insults and the criticism that had nothing to do with my arguments got so old.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary for you. I love your animations. Like I've been watching a lot of your videos these last couple of weeks, and I love how you can animate expressions onto your character as you're talking. I think that's super clever, and it's a lot of fun. And you animate props into your character's hands and stuff too. So that's awesome. I think you've got a whole cool thing going on there. You should definitely feel confident in that.
Well, thanks. I mean, a lot of the most popular channels use animation too. I mean, like people have been mentioning Armored Skeptic in the chat, and like Dark Matter 2525 comes to mind. And we've talked about Non-Stamp Collector, who doesn't make videos anymore, but his stuff was just stick figures, kind of like Stick here, actually. And that seems to be appealing. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think another thing that those creators like that you mentioned there, Armored Skeptic, and that they also use humor, right? That's when you watch their videos, it's not just arguments. It's, you know, they use the kind of humor like that. Armored Skeptic's got that whole angel and demon thing where he talks to them at the beginning of his videos and stuff. And I think that's what draws people into the video, and then he delivers his points.
Yeah.
So last question from Art of Free Speech, directed at you, Bionic, is William Shatner the greatest actor ever to grace the small screen?
Of course not. William Shatner is evil, and he will destroy us all if we don't stop him first. William Shatner must be destroyed to save.
And the way that we stop him
save all
is
of
with
reality.
big guns.
Thanks a lot for joining me on the stream, guys. It's been a lot of fun, and we should totally do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
thanks
really
so
enjoyed
much.
this.
Thank you. Can we all plug our
Congratulations
stuff?
as well?
Thanks
Again, congrats.
Oh yeah, and congrats, Godless. You're growing real fast, dude.
Thanks a lot. And thanks to Bionic Dance for helping me grow so fast as well.
Hey, no problem. I mean, you know, I like to pay it forward because, like I mentioned, Non-Stamp Collector giving me that shout out. The way I figure it, it's like I say, to pass it forward. Find channels I think are great, and I thought yours was pretty good. I don't even remember how I found it, but I remember enjoying what I saw, and so I was like, hey, this is someone who doesn't have enough subscribers. Let's do something about that.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that over 1,000 people like watched a video of mine and thought, wow, I want to see more of this. So I'm going to hit that subscribe button. And it's been a lot of fun to make videos. So thanks to everybody who's watching this and anybody who watches this in the future that's watched a video of mine or commented. You guys make it worthwhile.
Your next milestone.
Yeah, 10,000, next milestone.
Same with me.
All right, thanks, guys.
Sure.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.